Everyone wants something, but just because a person wants something doesn't mean that they go for it. Not going for what you want leads to all kinds of life dissatisfaction, a life experience that is less than what is possible to live. And desire is a very big part of what is meant to give you direction in life. So, not going for what you want means that you're going to be floating through life directionless. For that reason, today we're going to talk about how to go for what you want. For the sake of this conversation, we're going to start from the place of you knowing what it is that you want. But this being said, you need to make sure that you have properly pinpointed what you want. What do I mean by this? Some people think that they know what they want, but really they're focused on wanting a certain thing because they are convinced that that is the venue through which they will get something else. Therefore, what is really happening is that they're displaying or demonstrating a lack of flexibility regarding the how of getting what they want. For this reason, to identify what you really want, take what you think you want and ask yourself, what would getting that give me? I'll give you an example of what I mean. Let's say that there is a man who thinks, I want to be in a romantic relationship with Rachel. If he asks himself, what would being in a romantic relationship with Rachel give me? The answer may be, I will get unconditional love and nurturing. It's unconditional love and nurturing that he wants, not Rachel. He's simply convinced that Rachel is how to get what he wants. She's the how. So his desire isn't actually Rachel. On top of this, in order for Rachel to be, let's say, a good way for him to actually get what he wants, he has to make sure this is the case. For example, she may not want to provide unconditionality or nurturing to a romantic partner. Or let's say that the reason that he's completely convinced that she's going to be a good venue to fulfill these desires is because she's a therapist who he has seen behave very unconditional and nurturing with the people that she's been working with. But imagine that Rachel is only able to be unconditional and consistently nurturing in her profession, because unlike with a partner, her personal life is not negatively impacted by her clients' patterns and behaviors. And so she can be there for them without getting furious at them or afraid, no matter what they do or don't do, and not hold them to any standard of behavior. In essence, the security in the relationship with her clients can be relatively unconditional. This is not the case with a partner, potentially. Okay, so all this being said, let's imagine that you have identified what it is that you want. Here is how to go for what you want. 1. Resolve the resistance that you have to going for what you want. If a person has not gone for what they want, that is because they have a part of themselves, or many, that are opposing doing so. If you do not resolve this resistance and find alignment between the parts of yourself, going for what you want is going to be a little bit like driving with the parking brake on. This means identify your resistance to going for what you want and start to work with that resistance in a way that the resistance goes away. One of the best ways to deal with this kind of resistance is through parts work. If you want to learn about how to do that, you can watch my video that is titled Parts Work: What is Parts Work and How to Do It. Remember that resistance is not only about a part of you wanting something and a part of you not wanting something. It's about any oppositional force. So say that you wanted to be a surgeon, and the part of you doesn't really think highly enough of you to apply to a prestigious medical school. That would be considered oppositional force. In the process of you going for what you want, you may encounter a need to resolve many layers of resistance. And also keep in mind that when it comes to the things we want the most, but have not attained yet, one of the main reasons for this is because in order to go for what we want, we have to be willing to feel like a bad guy. If you want to learn more about this one, you can watch my video that's titled How Self-Concept Gets in the Way of Your Deepest Need. 2. Stir up and strengthen the vibrational frequency of what you are wanting. This is actually already happening at a subconscious level, but it definitely gets stronger with deliberate focus. Become clear about what you want and about why what you want is calling you. And then put yourself in the mental space of what you want in a way that specifically enhances the feeling state of what you want. Focus on yourself being there. For example, let's say that you have identified that what you want is to be financially free. Let's say that the specific thing that you're wanting out of that is this flavor of freedom. Deliberately think any thought that causes you to feel that flavor of freedom, and keep thinking that thought that amplifies it and amplifies it and amplifies it emotionally. People like to use visualization for this. So if seeing, sensing, and feeling yourself standing on the railing of a massive yacht causes this feeling state within you, then making this mental image as detailed as possible so as to feel that feeling flavor as intensely as possible is what to do. You want to maintain this for as long as you can do so intensely. And by the way, for most people, that's not very long. It's only a matter of minutes. It's best if you do this every day. What this does is it sets in motion the manifestation of what it is that you're wanting. You could say that it starts to create a kind of blueprint that calls the people, places, opportunities, and things into place for the manifestation of what it is that you're wanting. We could consider this a kind of a vibrational priming, and this vibrational priming also gives rise to inspired action. In other words, actions that will be the most effective to bring about what you want into the physical. But again, because what we're looking to do is enhance a specific feeling flavor, this has got to be really unique to you. So using our previous example, if financial freedom for somebody looks like sitting on a porch and literally having nothing to do, but being not limited in any way for anything that they might possibly want to buy, seeing, sensing, and feeling themselves sitting on a porch with nothing to do and no limits would be the image to use to enhance that feeling flavor. 3, commit to it. To commit to something is to put your energy into it. When your energy is in something, so are your words and choices and actions. If you're not committed to what you want, then what you want can't come to fruition because your energy is not actually invested in that thing. We are given the opportunity to commit and recommit every time we encounter a choice on the path to what we want. We have to keep making the choice for what we want and the choice that is aligned with what we want. This creates discipline and diligent persistence. For example, if we want to get fit, we must commit to doing so. This way, we're going to make choices and take actions that will bring fitness about. We can't say that we're committed to getting fit if we're confronted with the choice to eat Cheetos or not, and we do it. When we do this, we're demonstrating a subconscious commitment to something else other than fitness. 4, look for and seize opportunities. You have to actively look for opportunities, and when opportunities present themselves that seem to be in alignment with what you want, first make sure that they actually are in alignment with what you want. If not, turn them down. If yes, act on the opportunity. Many people let opportunities pass them by or don't act on them. To go for what you want, you need to act on them, even if an opportunity is only a stepping stone towards what you want. 5, be willing to be afraid and uncomfortable. It would benefit you to work up this emotional muscle. The comfort zone is not where going for what you want lives. Going for what you want takes bravery. You can work on this fear and discomfort directly because essentially they're aspects of resistance, but at the end of the day, you will have to be willing to be brave. You must act on opportunities and take risks in order to go for what you want. In this same vein, you've got to be a person who is willing to let go of what does not work for you, and also a person who is willing to let go of what is working for you in order to get what you want. Neither of which, by the way, are comfortable. For example, imagine that you want to be a professional singer. You may need to let go of living in a rural area. This may be something that really isn't working for you, and it's not really your favorite thing. You were just kind of stuck there for whatever reason. But let's say that you really love being near your family. This may be something that is actually working for you. The reality is, though, to be a professional singer, you may need to let go of being near your family. 6, act on inspired action. When you really want something, you will start to have inspiration to do certain things. They will come as deep urgings. These ideas of things to do will be ones that fill you with energy. They will make you feel moved from the inside, lit up, enthusiastic, and motivated. They will compel you to act. When this wave hits you, take inspired action immediately. You can think of this like being a spiritual surfer who is catching a wave and riding that universal current to shore. Only in this analogy, shore is the manifestation of what you want. The people who get what they want the fastest are the ones who act the quickest on inspiration, even if that inspiration happens to come to them at 3 o'clock at night. 7, when you have your sights set on the goal, i.e. what you want, break down the steps between where you are now and having what you want. From there, just start acting on the step in front of you, and then the next step in front of you, and then the next, rather than being overwhelmed by the entire staircase, which is what's really common for people. They get so overwhelmed, they don't go for what they want because they're like, oh my gosh, it's too much. Remember, the actual steps on the staircase may be different than you imagine them to be, but you need to start from the idea you have. For example, let's say that I know I want to move to a foreign country. I may first identify the steps as being, let's say, call an immigration lawyer, find the right visa, apply for that visa, decide what I'm keeping and not keeping, and donate what I'm not keeping, sublet my apartment. Okay, you get the point, right? But let's say that during this process, I find out that I need to apply not for that visa, but a different one. I can adjust and make that one of the new smaller steps. It was a step I was unaware of before, but once I am aware of it, it simply becomes part of the unique staircase of going for what I want. Every day, just take the next step and the next step and the next step. 8, learn from the people who already have what you want and who already are where you want to be. In this same vein, ask for what you want and get help. You do not have to go for what you want alone. No one ever got to where they are by their own energy alone. There is a saying that the way you will actually become successful will never be the way you think. This is another way of saying that you need to be flexible regarding the how of getting what you want. Also, the way that one person gets what they want is likely to be totally different than the way another person gets what they want. So what this means is you want to always stay open to alternatives and other possibilities. However, people who already have what you want often dole out golden advice for getting what you want, and this information is really, really helpful, if not completely necessary. Why? So you don't make the same mistakes they did. On top of this, it may sound obvious, but you have to ask for what you want, not only from the universe, but also from other people. You would be absolutely shocked at how quickly you can get what you want simply by asking for it from others. On top of this, find other people who are willing to invest their energy into what you want, because doing so brings about something that they want. As they say, Rome was not built in one day by a pair of hands alone. You may be able to find overt help from people who simply want to help you, but I will tell you that by far the most powerful relationships with regards to getting what you want come about when you set up a situation where your gain is somehow also their gain. Make sure the people you are spending your time with also are not oppositional to what it is that you want. You want to spend your time with people who are a yes towards what you want. 9, be persistent. Persistence is absolutely necessary if you want to go for what you want. You want to be the kind of person who isn't dissuaded from what they want. To use a metaphor, be the person who goes in the back door when he or she is denied entry in the front door. Be the person who tries a different approach, and a different approach, and a different approach. Be the person who is willing to get 1,000 no's before they get a yes. Keep going at it. If you know what you want, go get after it. Don't keep telling yourself that you have tomorrow and the next day and the next day to do it. All you have is today. So make the most of it. And the way you make the most of it is by dedicating your energy, your thoughts, your words, your choices, and your actions to what is most important to you, to what you really, really value, and to what you really, really want. Have a good week.